Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm welcoming good afternoon to you. On this video, we're going to talk about the scrapped title change from All In.
Interesting details on Jamie Hayter's AEW return.
We'll tell you which All In match was shortened and why.
And a major update on Miro. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the After News.
Yes, we've got some AEW business to talk about here, but in case you missed it this morning, we did just a little tribute video for Sid Udy, aka Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, or Lord Humongous, whatever you know him as, who sadly passed away over the weekend. So if you're a Sid head, and why would you not be, we covered that this morning, myself and Michael Hamflet. I called him the Encarta of wrestling knowledge. So check that out from this morning. But we're going to start just talking about AEW now in the aftermath of All In. Big event, obviously, large stadium.
Yes.
Large show. It was really good. I had a great time. I watched it 24 hours afterwards. One or two things were spoiled, but I still had a great time.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Who cares? Scrap title change, sort of. Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW originally wanted Death Triangle to win the Trios Championship. Obviously, that didn't end up happening. It was Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta who left with the AEW World Trios Championships in that bonkers ladder match. Currently, Phoenix and Penta are in a bit of limbo in AEW. They're reported to be leaving and maybe on their way to WWE. Penta has he posted the other week, my present is AEW, but didn't say anything about his future.
Indeed, yeah.
There's talk that AEW might extend Phoenix, I think, his contract due to injury and stuff, which is a practice that I'm personally not in favour of. I think if someone wants to leave, they should just be able to leave, right? Like, obviously, you don't want to do that willy-nilly and release half your roster on a whim. But if it's like deeply ingrained within them and they don't want to stay,
especially when you try and keep around on a technicality.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that personally, but there are contrasting views on it. But yeah, Death Triangle, I guess that makes sense, right? Because Pac is in that group as well.
Yes.
I imagine the priority was, hey, let's have Pac, an English guy, win in England.
Yeah.
That was probably the line of thought here. And yeah, Death Triangle is this like more established unit. But he's obviously... I mean, it was great, don't get me wrong. Like, I loved seeing that bastard climb the ladder and seal the belts and all that stuff. But yeah, just an interesting note on an original plan.
Yeah, exactly. The London ladder match, like you say, was just bonkers. But I think even going into it, you couldn't really call who was going to leave with the titles. Patriarchy going in as champions. Of course, you got the Bing Bing Gang in there as well. And I was kind of surprised, like you say, that it was the BCC and Pac winning, but it made a lot of sense, as you say. First of all, the reaction that Pac got was huge in the arena. And it adds an interesting wrinkle to the story now, because it's like he's the trios champion. Mox obviously conspicuous by his absence on the entire show, but also Pac's got a shot at Ospreay in the international title going forward. And is Mox going to be like, I'll just take that. We'll just say it's the BCC's trios title. Pac's going to be like, what?
What are you talking about?
But yeah, it was a really enjoyable match, especially the bit where some people in the arena thought Nick Wayne's mime, who's got it going on, was going to win the titles for her son. And also, them dropping the titles, regardless of whether it was, like you say, originally planned to be Death Triangle or BCC and Pac, adds a really interesting wrinkle to that story I can't wait to see followed up on Wednesday, which is Killswitch / Luchasaurus. I think I know what's going to happen. I think Christian, despite what I suppose technically Luchasaurus did to help Christian Cage get the title shot, Christian Cage is going to be like, you ruined All In for us. You lost us those bloody trios titles. I'm like, I didn't do anything.
I'm just a dinosaur. What are you talking about? Christian versus Danielson's going to rock.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be so good.
And we get Danielson versus Darby, of course.
That's apparently the planned main event for Grand Slam.
Yes.
So,
I should say, if he holds on to it.
Yeah,
I would assume he will. But Christian can cash in, well, not cash in, but can call that title shot at any time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love maybe the move. And it would be a short reign for Danielson, and you can make a counter argument to this, and I would probably agree with you, but maybe the move is Darby wins at Grand Slam.
Maybe.
And then Christian cuts just a horrible promo about Darby's car accident where his uncle passed away, because that's what Christian Cage does.
The alternative I thought on the night was Christian Cage, rather than going after Danielson's dad, cutting a promo on Birdie saying, I'm going to kill you, Dad.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I mean, that's better.
either or.
That's
Up
better,
to you.
actually.
I'm sure you're
Yeah.
going to do a sensational about that. I mean, absolutely awful promo either way.
He's the worst guy alive.
Yeah. And also the best, somehow. Right, let's bring you some more news coming off the back of All In. Hamlet and I talked about it yesterday with big returns and the Stinger saving his son from death. But also, we saw the return of Jamie Hayter, which was just fantastic. She interrupted Saraya saying, basically, this is my house.
You neckbeard stinky twats. Remember that one? Awesome.
Showed up, kicked her ass, and all indications seem to be that she is back and ready to go. But Fightful Select coming through, talking about her comeback from injury. Was battling her injuries from May of 2023, let's not forget. She even required special clearance, according to Fightful Select, to just do that match where she dropped the AEW Women's World title to Toni Storm at Double or Nothing.
It was like 5 minutes or something, wasn't it? It was really short, yeah.
By the summer of 2023, it was clear that they weren't going to get her back for the rest of the year. But obviously, as I said, she returned at All In, and Fightful Select's coming through with more of a report on the process that she went through. Over the past few months, an in-ring return has become more and more of a possibility. Tentative plans were put in place for her to appear at All In. She was actually at a recent taping to meet with Tony Khan, but that was all kept very quiet, understandably. It wasn't actually decided what she was going to do on the show until this week, because I know I'd sat here and speculated maybe she was going to help out Britt Baker with Camille being there for Mercedes Money. But the most important thing, she's back. She's cleared for in-ring action. At one point, he was even a squash match considered. But yeah, I suppose technically you want to save the first match of Hayter to be advertised, maybe this week or maybe going forward. Long term, Hayter versus Money, please.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's a long absence, right? Really long absence. And a lot of wrestlers, when they're out, will share lots of updates on socials and go, hey, my neck is this, my arm is, my back is whatever. And you'll get lots of reports on how they're doing. You'll get lots and lots and lots. There wasn't much at all over the past year and a half or so from the Jamie Hayter camp whatsoever. So clearly she was dealing with some really, really banged up injuries, some bad things. But in a way, I kind of think it almost helped her return, because it created she didn't post anything on socials, nothing. Created a kind of mystique around the return and around her. Not that Jamie Hayter needs any help becoming like more of a special wrestler, because I think she's incredible. But it made the return feel so cathartic that we didn't have all these updates. And like, obviously, sometimes reporters get information and they share it. That's their job. I'm not criticizing them. That's what they're paid to do. But it's sometimes cool when you get like a genuine surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
There was some stuff, some kind of vague-ish stuff that came about maybe Jamie and Britt Baker's relationship isn't so great anymore, which kind of explains the different role here. I will say that when I watched it and she came down and her and Saraya were in the ring, the energy for me was ring the bell. Just squash her. And I'm not saying this because I predicted that on Twitter before.
You did.
The event.
It was a hell of a shout.
Very close. Only got the squash match part wrong. That would have been fun. But yeah, they'll probably do that on Dynamite.
Yeah, Saraya could do something on socials today or something and say, right, let's have a bare knuckle fight then.
You could a bare knuckle fight. You could even do Harley Cameron first and do that.
Yes, good point.
Do that quickly, because she's really good in her role now.
She is.
Like, she's really grown in AEW. She's good. Good TV performer. Better than Saraya, I would say, in fact. But yeah, great to see Jamie Hayter back. She's one of my favourite wrestlers. Very happy for her. I think it came off really well. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Really, really good stuff. And if you're heading to All In, don't forget the Crystal Club. Wait a second, sorry, I've gone into autopilot.
No more ad reads.
Just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came to our live show and came to the Sweet Chin Disco after All In. It was an amazing weekend, so thank you to everyone. And everyone who came up and, as always, said lovely things and got photos with us. Just awesome, thank you.
410 people in the building. It's a shame it wasn't 10 more.
We were hoping putting out chairs. And I thought, oh boy, that's a lot of chairs.
This is too many people, brother.
Hopefully we'll be sharing some clips of it, if not the whole thing, because we taped large parts of it very soon. And just wait till you see what Phil Chambers does. That's all I'm going to say.
I've already seen the mustache.
That boy worked us all.
My goodness. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes. No, we're not talking. I wrote Cody Rhodes on my notes, and now I'm just regurgitating. Why did I write Cody Rhodes? Let's talk about the coffin match.
Aha.
Right. It was a bit short, wasn't it?
It was weirdly.
Yeah.
Well, it was going along, and then it just ended, and you thought, oh, okay.
It's
but then the
going
Stinger came back, so you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fair enough. It was like 10 minutes 37, I think. It was the second shortest match on the card, I believe, after Hook versus Jericho.
And that could have been short for me.
That match could have literally been Taz choking out Jericho and nothing else, and I would have been totally fine with that. But hey, this thing, the short line for the coffin match, which was Darby Allin versus Jack Perry, was due to time restraints. They had a really rigid schedule. The show needed to end at a certain time. In fact, when I loaded up the pay-per-view file on my laptop and put it onto the big screen, the big TV, it came up saying 4 hours exactly. I was like, oh boy, they've had to fit something in here, and this was the case. They had to fit it in, they had to squeeze it in. This is according to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio. That's why it was cut a little bit short and why it maybe felt a little bit abrupt. Also, you have to factor in that they had to get the Sting angle in there as well, which is another few minutes, the gasoline tank, all of that stuff. And then, of course, you're not going to take time away from Swerve and Danielson, are you?
It was the penultimate match on the card, wasn't it? That makes sense,
So...
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, I think, no offence to Jack Perry and Darby Allin, but Swerve and Bryan Danielson needed all that time and didn't want to be rushed for such an epic match, and by God did they use that time incredibly well.
That was magnificent. Yeah.
Unbelievable match, that. And I suppose he didn't really take anything away from Darby. He did have his hands tied together, was pushed off the ramp and then put into a body bag with thumbtack. It was just brutal, and like you say, the overriding memory of it all is Sting returning to save him from being set on fire with real jet black hair. He
had, I appreciate this from the Stinger, the face paint went all the way up to his hairline as well.
It did.
It was like,
it reminded me a bit of that, the guitarist in Limp Bizkit when he used to have all that face paint.
Wes Borland.
Yeah. But that's the thing everyone's going to really remember from it. So it's not taking too much away from the match, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think before the show, a lot of people said it was one of the matches they were most looking forward to. So maybe a little bit of a letdown. Maybe they had 5 more minutes of really cool stuff planned. I still thought it was net positive on the whole, and this thing was awesome.
And I think AEW can do more of this sort of thing. Not cutting short matches, but sticking to a rigid schedule, like you say. The show on the whole felt a lot less bloated. It's like they had 9 matches on it and they were flying through, and I thought they're really doing good keeping time here. And at no point was I going, oh, we've got another 4 matches. Well, maybe during Jericho, but other than that, I wasn't sat there thinking, oh god, we've got so many matches to go, and I'm got to get to Sweet Chin Disco. We're going to get home.
It proves that there's no such in terms of time, there's no such thing as a show that's too long, right? 4 hours isn't inherently too long. 5 hours isn't inherently too long.
No.
2 hours isn't inherently too short. It's about how you pace these things.
Exactly.
6 hours, difficult. But if you have quality content, Jesus, if you have quality matches and you pace things the right way, that's what impacts the time. It's not a set number that's too long.
No.
I don't think, which I think is a level of nuance we should add more to this conversation about pay-per-views.
Good luck with that on X.
Don't even try on X.
Let's conclude by talking about Miro. An interesting update come from Mike Johnson of PW Insider on this. PWInsider.com confirming that Miro is back in the United States. He was spotted over the weekend in LA. He's obviously been in Bulgaria for quite some time now.
His great uncle, I hear.
Last wrestled for AEW in December of 2023. Do you remember who that match was against?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I had to Google it as well. It was the Andrade match at World's End. I think that was the Lana storyline as well.
Yeah.
CJ Perry, I should say. No word on when he'll return to the ring, but he's now back in the US, so I suppose we're one step closer. He is one of those conspicuous by his absence people in terms of, you're just like, what's going on? Why aren't they using him? He was so awesome, obviously, with that TNT Championship run. And then I don't know whether it was butting heads with creative or what, or he's obviously had relationship issues, so we're not going to speculate too much on that.
Personal.
But it'd be nice to see him back wrestling.
Yeah, it's always quite a mysterious situation with Miro. I think he tweeted something that there was a report, I believe it was something about like creative plans that were maybe turned down or something.
Yeah.
And he tweeted saying, no, I'm injured, not so long ago. So he's maybe been hurt, he's been at home, he's obviously had some tumult in his real life. Hope he's doing okay. Hope everyone in that situation is doing okay, obviously. I really love Miro, and I think it's a real shame that we've not seen much of him over the past few years. I think that his TNT title run was incredible. I think that run was the blueprint for what he should be in AEW.
Yep.
Scary, intimidating, monstrous, great promos, great gravitas, great presence. But he's got a dodgy neck, gives people an avenue to beat him, gives opponents something to tackle, to target, tackle someone's neck, you'd have to get right off the ground, wouldn't you?
But then also when you go for it, he's like, are you trying to hurt my neck?
And he will kill you.
Yeah.
So you can believably beat him by telling the story of the neck injury, but also he can run through loads of people at the same time, because it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So who knows what his future holds in wrestling. I have absolutely no idea. I just want him back doing what he does best, and that's beating ass.
Yeah, he's someone who could just turn up and genuinely challenge Bryan Danielson in like 3 weeks, couldn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
He's so believable
100%.
and he's so recognisable and known to the fan base that you wouldn't be like, who's this giant Bulgarian guy? I can't recognise your face from somewhere. Like, run through some dudes and then be like, I'm going to kill you, Bryan Danielson. Yeah. Really hope he's back in the wrestling ring soon. But most importantly, as Andy said, just to echo, I hope he's doing all right, most importantly. But let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed. Let us know your thoughts on All In. Check out all of our coverage from it on the channel right now. And like, share, subscribe. If you want to check out that awesome eulogy, I suppose, to Sid from this morning with Hamlet and Andy, it's available right here. We'll see you soon.